welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and today we are going to have another Sailfish OS topic, which will be something in the lines of small tips about app updates, maintenance of the smartphone, and hiccups that might occur and how to get rid of them. This episode is more or less dedicated to newer users, not the newest one, so if you're just beginning, there are other videos I'm going to put down there, or up there, where you can have a look at them to get started with Sailfish OS. But if you are already a little bit in, but not that comfortable with some other such things or whatever, you will have a couple of different tips in this video and episode, which should give you at least a little bit of more knowledge than before, I hope. If so, please give it a thumbs up, of course, and if you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel if you didn't till now, and of course there is a commentary section. If you have any kind of questions, just ask them there. I'm trying to answer them then in one of my other episodes which are coming up, or the commentary section itself. Okay, so first off, what I'm going to show you here is Sailfish OS running on a Sony Xperia 10 Mark III in this case. This is this smartphone. And as mentioned before, we are going to have a look at a couple of different smaller things in the system, which are going to help you, hopefully. For that, I'm going to use my laptop at the side here, and we are going to have a look into the smartphone itself by using a technology called screencast. And like that, you should be able to see what's going on my smartphone. I'm just going to give it a reload. That's sometimes necessary for this. And now you can see what I'm going to do on my smartphone is going to be shown on this big display here too. And like that, you should be able to see everything more or less. There's a bit of delay in this technology, so if it's really delayed somehow, it's not about the smartphone itself, which is fine from the speed and performance aspect. It's really just the technology to transfer this and doing this. Okay, so first off, I'm going to turn around and show you a couple of different things on my smartphone. So like this, you can see what the real performance is. And of course, you should be able to see it in a bigger screen there too. Okay, so first off, if you are running Sailfish OS, you already noticed that there are a couple of different stores installed, or better to say, you should install some of them. If you didn't do that till now, please have a look at the description below. There is a link to show you where to get everything, or at least the ones you want to have. Okay, and as you can see, I have a couple of stores installed. It's mainly the Shangui, Storman, F-Droid, and Aurora store, which are the most important ones. Jolla, of course, is the one too, which is very important, but you don't have to do anything with that in general. So what I'm going to show you is how to handle these, and especially what happens if you, for instance, use them for a while. For instance, I'm going to go to Storman to show you something. This is Open Webros. And in the end, what you can already see here, we have a couple of different apps which are presented to us and stuff like that. But what might happen after a while at least is that you get some kind of a notification. I'm not sure if we are going to see it here. Hopefully we will, but if not, it's not really important, but it's here. So what you're going to see is sometimes something like repository isn't available anymore or whatever. And in this case, I would recommend you to get, for instance, that cleaned up, because otherwise you're going to get update failure and other messages up here. And if that happens, it's a little bit unfortunate just. And like this, what you want to do here is you should go to, maybe I can force it, give me 1 second. I'm not sure if I can force it like this, we will see. So at the moment he's trying to refresh all the apps, and sometimes you will get this information then, but doesn't seem to come up. So in the end, sorry that I can't show it to you, but in the end there would be some kind of a banner up here which is going to tell you, hey, something is missing or no longer available or something. and in some cases even it's not necessary anymore. So for that, go to your software sources at this point, and as you can see, there are a couple of different sources installed on the smartphone from Storeman in this case. And like that, there are a couple of them which might, for instance, because you deinstalled something or whatever, no longer necessary. And by deinstalling all the different apps, in general they take most of the stuff with them, but some things are just in general use, and like that they are not deinstalled by the smartphone or the app installer or deinstaller. And like that, you should from time to time have a look at the upper menu here and have a look at, for instance, search for unused. Suche nach Ungenutzten in German. If I go to that, you will see, okay, there are a couple of different sources which are no longer necessary, in this case Gloomy and Pulsar 541. And to just tidy up everything and don't get any kind of annoying messages and stuff like that, you might want to get rid of them. If one of the programs or the software which is using them will be reinstalled, they're going to go get back on your smartphone in general, so you don't have to worry much about it. Just make sure that you get rid of them. And as you can see, those two sources were deinstalled. The banner there told you that, and like this should no longer give us anything, okay? So no unused sources anymore. Okay, the second one, in some cases it even makes sense to get rid of the cache, so just do that. In general you don't have to do it, it's just for a couple of different more or less possibilities that might happen, because for instance the cache is not getting refreshed like it should be, like this for instance. There is a problem because one of the repositories isn't available anymore. And this can be problematic. As you can see, we can have a look at that again, and as you can see, there is one more. So let's get rid of that, because the cache was more or less covering up that it wasn't used anymore. And so it's very important to just from time to time get rid of the cache too, and like this, now it should be really fine and like it should be, and everything should work now. Okay, so next part, this is Open Repos. Of course you can now search for everything what you want and so on and so forth. Next part would be the next one, store ShamGUI. Here it's not so much about that what I showed you before. It could be, there could be more or less the same problems here. As you can see, we got 3 updates here, so I'm going to click on that first. And it's important that you from time to time check the store. So it's up to you to keep everything up to date. In general, some apps will ask for updates and stuff like that if you open them up. Others won't, and if you want the newest updates, just have a look from time to time in the store and do it by yourself. The good thing about this is, for instance, if you are used to Windows 10 or something like that, or Windows 11, then the updates are always to, more or less in a time where you don't really need them or like them. And the good thing about all this here is, it's more or less done when you want it and not when the system means or thinks it should have them. And so just make sure you are, for instance, connected to your Wi-Fi or something, and update all of these too. So let's do that. As you can see, there's even an update for the ShamGUI, which might be problematic, we will see. As you can see, there are a couple of different options here. We are going to go to all, update all more or less, and wait a little to let him update those information. So it's the OSM Scout, which has to do with pure maps, or at least with something that is working with pure maps, so your maps service in general and stuff like that. Okay, so no updates available anymore because we just did that. Let's have a look at the installed packages here. As you can see, we can have a couple of different informations here about what is installed. There is one of the Scout servers, so you can have a look at what's going on. And even if you want to have a look what is new, for instance, you can go down here and click on this, for instance, have a look at the number, which is the new one. Click on that and you are going to get a couple of different informations about what is new in this new version. So just try that out. From time to time you will get informations about that. What we just updated was this one. So if you have a look at that, it's the newest version at this point, and we got, for instance, a couple of different translations. We don't really need them, but if you like them, or it's your language, of course it's very important for you then. And you have a couple of different other updates, for instance optimized memory usage and stuff like that. So probably it's going to help you in some of the cases. Okay, so this is more or less what you can do here. One more thing which is very interesting, if you are, for instance, updating your system. So in this case, let's say you have, I think what's running at the moment, give me one sec, I have to have a look at that. I think it's 4.5.19 if I'm not wrong, we will see. Go down to this option here. Yeah, it's 4.5.0.19. And in the end, what we can have a look at is, for instance, if you just updated your smartphone to a newer operation system. So the operation system is, for instance, now 4.5.024 or whatever, a newer version. Then it might be that some of the repositories, are no longer valid for your smartphone. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not working for them, but in general, if you have that and you are on the newest one, it can take 1 to 2 days or something like that till the other repositories are updated to more or less cover this too. Sorry, I have to unfreeze my computer there. In the end, what you can do in this case is you can go to this option, click on that, and for instance just input manually your current version, something like this. If you do this, then the sham GUI will search for exactly this version number and will only give you compatible apps and stuff like that with this version you entered, and not the one that is given by the system. Because if you are leaving it empty, like this, it's going to try to get the current system version number and use that. And if that is too new, it sometimes happens that you don't have any kind of search results, for instance, if you're searching here. So this is a good tip to just get rid of some of the problems if you didn't know that till now. Okay, so next one, of course, we have, for instance, F-Droid. F-Droid is only available for you if you are using the Android app support, which is called Alien Delvic or AD in Sailfish OS. And so if it's started for the first time, like I did here, then you might have to wait a little to get it started. After that, it's going to be pretty fast. Sometimes it's even not starting at all, but now you can see it's here. Okay, so same thing here. If you want to have updates and stuff like that, you might want to activate it from time to time. So go to the settings button down there and click on installed apps. And if you go to this, and there are installed apps which got any kind of update or something, they should be shown in this case. And in general, he's going to try to update them now. But because, of course, I already did that, everything is already fine. But in general, that would give you the possibility to do that. Other than that, it's often a little bit interesting what you can click on here too. So in this case, for instance, I'm going to set this to system-based because I'm more in the black theme version. So in this case, I'm just going to set this here to that button. Just because I just saw it, I just set it up. And yeah, in the end here are a couple of different other informations. For instance, again, your local package source more or less. So in this case, Sony Xperia 10 Mark III, as I already told you, with more or less an open Android one. Because F-Droid, of course, is Android app based, so they got Android apps there. You are going to have to put that in here. Other than that, there's not too much to have a look at. You can of course have a look at the apps and stuff like that, but this is more or less what you can and should do with this kind of F-Droid. Just open it up from time to time to get the updates, and as mentioned before, maybe you want to go to the to your own installed ones, for instance, have a look at that and drag down, like I did here, to get the new packages, and like this. Takes a little to get this done. And then you might receive updates. There we go, we have updates available. So let's click on that. And as you can see, there are a couple of different apps which want to be installed now. Just give them the permission to do it in general, because of course you want the newest app in general from your smartphone, or which is already installed of course on your smartphone. And after that, you should be able to just have a look at this and should be able to work it through. At the moment, I'm not sure, so let's just keep it open to work in the background. I'm not sure at the moment, as you can see there's a new icon for instance now, but I'm not sure at the moment if, for instance, Aurora Store has been fixed already. I'm not sure about that. Let's see if we can see something there. Yeah, Ren says, at the moment a problem with Aurora Store, because if you are searching for something, for instance, like this, let's search for test for instance, it's not going to show you something. They are working at it as far as I know, but at the moment you're not able to search for something, so if you are working with it, just use one of the categories here for instance, or in some situations of course you can go to games and stuff like that too, so just switch through this. In most situations you are going to find what you are searching for, because it's, yeah, in many situations the most popular apps you're going to search for. But still, if you don't, I can't do that at the moment. There are a couple of other options you have. For instance, you can try to go to store and use, for instance, APK Pure if you don't have installed that one. Down below in this commentary section I'm going to give you another link for that. And of course, Aptoid would be one too. I wouldn't recommend it if you can avoid it, but in some situations like these you might have to install something, so just search for them on these stores and don't use the Aurora Store in this case. Or a better version or better way to do it, go to the Aurora Store, install it from there, from the categorizing part, there's a categorized list, and if you don't find it there, then go to the other one, or just wait a little, because hopefully it's going to be resolved in a couple of days probably. Okay, so another thing that I want to show you is something a little bit more important than what I showed you till now, or maybe equally important, well, who doesn't, whatever. So let's go to the settings here, and if I go to the settings I'm going to show you something that is going to help you a lot if, for instance, you are having some trouble with, let's say, the fingerprint reader or something like that. Because sometimes those services are a little bit, let's say, weak, so they are just dropping out of working and stuff like that. If that is happening, go to Hilfsprogramme, help programs or whatever it's called in English. And here you have a couple of different options to get rid of a couple of problems without restarting your smartphone. That's much faster. And for instance, if you have any kind of network problems, you can of course go there and restart the network. I'm not going to do that because at the moment we are streaming it to the big screen via network, so it's working for me. Start screen is more or less this one. More important, what I'm using a couple of times, maybe in a month, I'm not sure, is the fingerprinter or fingerprint reader. It's not totally stable, so in some situations you will have to log in by your PIN, in this case PIN code, and then you will have to reactivate it here. If you click on that, it's just going to restart that service. Takes a little, and after that it's already there again. And if we are now trying to use it, there we go. it got my fingerprint in and it worked, as you could see here. And yeah, in some situations you really just have to do that. And here we already see that a couple of different informations are there. For instance, the Hills program part was informed, or has informed me that it's working. And here you can see we have a couple of different updates now installed from the F-Droid one, which is giving me the information there too. Sometimes restarting one of the services gives you something like this, so it's normal that you are getting a lot of different informations now, because we just restarted it and it's more or less like the smartphone was started newly for this service, but it's much faster to do it like this. What I recommend you to have is more or less one more thing. If I long click, you get this more or less, yeah, shutdown options. And the shutdown option to shut the smartphone down is always there, the other one isn't. So if you really want, and this is restarting by the way, if you want that, go down here, go to organize, not organize, sorry, go to the settings, and here you will have a couple of different options, what you want to be displayed and what not. Since this is something that you are not going to find at this place, so this is for all the other stuff that you see here, so organizing them and stuff like that. If you want to have the other one, just go in here, and I think it's under, where is it? Developer mode, or whatever you want to call that. And here you can see Neustart-Option im oberen Menü anzeigen means shows a new or the restart option in the upper menu. So I would highly recommend you to activate it. I'm not sure why it's not there by default. Yeah, and this is more or less what I wanted to show you here. So we have a couple of different options that you can already see are hopefully very helpful for you and will help you to overcome a couple of different hiccups you might experience from time to time. It's really not common or something. It's just, if you experience it, there should be some information about that, and I hope this video gives you a couple of little hints how to work with them and how to get rid of them. And other than that, thank you for watching, thanks for listening. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, of course. If you have any kind of questions, comments, whatever, put them down below in the commentary section. And if you didn't subscribe to this channel till now, do it now. The button is down below, it doesn't cost anything, just click on it. And the algorithm will hopefully push us a little bit higher up and promote a little bit of Sailfish OS too. Okay, thank you for watching, thanks for listening, and have a great day, have a great week, probably till the next weekend, and then bye. Bye.